chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. So welcome to the morning Srīmad Bhāgavatam class. We studying first Canto, Creation, chapter 15. Pāṇḍavas retire timely, and we'll try to recite a series of verses spoken by Arjuna as he is explaining to Yudhishthira Maharaj the worst fears of Yudhishthira Maharaj that has come true, that Krishna has departed from the material world back to his spiritual abode, and how all this happened, and how Arjuna is lamenting and feeling dejected. So we'll start with text number 6. Would someone like to drive this? It's easier for me to manage. So as we change it, we have to change the top.
I should get them all on one page if you go back.
You know how to change it?
Settings. Yeah. Or just, it doesn't matter, it's fine.
Yasya shayan viyogena loko hi apriyadarshana uttena rahito yesha mritakaha prochyate yatha Yad samshrayad drupadageham upagatanam Rajnam swayam varamukhe smaradurmadanam Tejo ritam khalu maya vihatascha matsya Sajjikrite dhanusha digata cha Krishna Yat sannidhav aham mukhandavam agnayedam Indram Chasamaraganam tarasa vijitya Labdha sabha maya krita bhuta shilpa maya Digbyo haran nipatayo balimadvarete तेजसा निपशिरोऽङ्घ्रिम् अहं मखार्थम् आर्योऽनुजस्तवगजायुत सत्त्ववीर्या तेनाहिता प्रमुखनाथ मुखाय भूपा यन्मोचितास्तदनयन् बलिमद्वरेते पत्न्यास्तवादिमुखक्लिप्त महाभिषेका चारु कदम्बरकिता वै सभा श्लाघिष्टचारुकबलं कित वै सभायाम् सृष्टं विकीर्य पदयो पतिताश्रुमुख्या यस्तत्स्त्रियो कृतह्यतेष विमुक्तकेशाः यो नो जुगुपवन एत्यदुरन्तकृच्छ्रा दुर्वाससोरिरसितात् अयुताग्रभूग्या साकानषष्टिम् उपयुज्य यतस्त्रिलोकीम् तां ममस्तसलिले विनिमग्नसङ्गः यत्तेजसाथ भगवान् युधिशूलपाणि विस्मापिता स गिरिजोस्त्रम् अदान्निजं मे अन्येऽपि चाहं मुनैव कलेवरेण प्राप्तो महेन्द्रभवने महदासनार्थम् तत्रैव मे विहरतो भुजदण्डयुग्मम् गाण्डीवलक्षणमरातिवधाय देवाः सेन्द्राश्रिताय धनुभावित आजमीढ तेनाहमद्य मुषिता पुरुषेण भूम्ना यद्बान्धवा कुरुबलाब्धिमनन्तपारम् एको रथेन ततरेऽहमतीर्य सत्त्वम् प्रत्याहृतं बहुधनं च मया परेषाम् तेजास्पदं मणिमयं च हितं शिरोभ्यः यो भीष्म भीष्मकर्ण गुरुशल्य चमूष्वदप्रा राजन्यवर्य रथमण्डलमण्डितासु अग्रे चरो मम विभोरथयूथपानाम् आयुर्मनांसि च दृशा सह ओज आर्चत् यद्दोषुमा प्रणिहितं गुरु भीष्मकर्णा न त्रिगर्तशलया सैन्धव बाहिल्काल्यहि त्रिगर्तशैल्यसान्धव बाह्लिकाद्यै अस्त्रान्नमोघमहिमानि निरूपितानि नृहरिदासमिवासुराणि सौत्ये वृता कुमतिनात्मदईश्वरो मे सौत्ये वृता कुमतिनात्मदईश्वरो मे यत्पादपद्मं भवाय भजन्ति भव्याः मां श्रान्तवाहं रयोरहिनो भुवि स्थम् नाप्राहरन् यदनुभाव निरस्तचित्ताः नरमान्युदाररुचिरास्मितशोभितानि हे पार्थ हेऽर्जुन सखे कुरु नन्दनेति सञ्जल्पितानि नरदेव हृदि स्पृशानि स्मर्तुर्लुठन्ति हृदयं मम माधवस्य शय्यासनार्थन विकथन भोजनादिश याद्वयस्य ऋतवानिति विप्रलब्धः सख्यो सखेव पृथ्वत् तनयस्य सर्वम् सेहे महान्महितया कुमतेरघं मे सोऽहं निपेन्द्ररहिता पुरुषोत्तमेन सख्या प्रियेण सुहृदा हृदयेन शून्याः अध्मन्युरुक् विक्रम परिग्रहमंगरक्षन् गोपैरसद्भिरबलेव विनिर्जितोऽस्मि तद्वै धनुस्त इषवा सरतो हयास्ते सोऽहं रथी नृपतयो यत आनमन्ति सर्वं शनेन त अभूदसदीशरिक्तम् भस्मन्हुतं कुहकरात् दमिवोक्तुम् उष्याम् राजंस्त्वयानुपृष्टानाम् सुहृदां न सुहृत्पुरे विप्रशाप विमूढानां निघ्नतां मुष्टिभिर्मितः वारुणिं मदिरां पीत्वा मदोन्मत्थितचेतसाम् अजानताम् इवान्योन्यम् चतु पञ्चावशेषितः हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे ये ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So, what verse we were up to? 11.
Completed 11.
So we found 12 from today. So these verses are nice, and if we can read it in sequence, then we can become more absorbed in the mood of Arjuna and the mood that Arjuna is expressing. Let's do Mangalacharan and we can discuss more. Om Ajnanatinirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sasitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadampitam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta-padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Once I had heard, from a devotee that Srimati Radharani, she has a treasure box, and every day she opens that treasure box and takes all the jewels out, and she very lovingly looks at the jewels and polishes them and puts them back in the treasure box. What is this treasure box? This treasure box is the precious memories of the times she has spent with Krishna and the exchanges she's had with Krishna and Krishna has had with her. So similarly, in our lives also, there are precious gems of devotional service. When we have the opportunity to do some service to Krishna, when first we met our spiritual master or Siksha Guru who have guided us in this path. So those jewels we should cherish very nicely and very carefully guard them in the deposit box of our memories. And constantly we should recall, remember, appreciate and offer our gratitude for the opportunity we have had in devotional service. That itself, remembrance of such things, it itself devotional service. And this is what we see here, Arjuna, even at the time of despondency or dejection, when he's bereft of Krishna's personal association, he's remembering all those past times and reminiscing and reliving those things again. However, what do we have to relive for? Our memories in mundane world, in exchanges with the family members or with the outside world, with work, are not really worth memories to reminiscence on. If anything, anger, agitation and anxiety comes because those interactions are based on the foreground of greed, lust, on what others can do for me. And I am the center of the universe. Ishvaroham aham bhogi, siddhoham balvan sukhi. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, these are the qualities of demoniac nature, that I am the center of the universe. Ishvaroham, I am the controller. Aham bhogi, I am the enjoyer. So, if at all, the memories that we will have are memories of struggle and battle. Why? Because everyone is competing for the same things, that you should make me the object of enjoyment. But when we come to Krishna consciousness, and when we stand in front of Srila Prabhupada and Shri Radhagiri Govardhan Hari, Gauranitai, then we are creating new memories. When we serve Krishna, when we cook in the kitchen, clean the temple, clean the toilets over here, sell books, distribute prashadam, welcome new guests, speak to them, tell them about Krishna. And we see how these new devotees have or are taking up to Krishna consciousness and how nicely they are progressing in Krishna consciousness. Then this creates new memories in our memory bank. And these memories actually will help us in progress towards Krishna consciousness. And ultimately, make those memories that we really want, in our life. Sometimes we think, we wish there was a control alt delete button that we could delete so many memories. But we actually cannot. However, we can create nice new memories that is worth living by and that is worth remembering. Someone once said that at the end of our lives, the whole life will pass before our very eyes. Therefore, make sure you make a movie out of it which is worth watching. So, Arjuna is an intimate friend of Krishna. And Arjuna, when we look at these verses, let's go and read the translation of as well, so we can actually get in the mood of Arjuna. What is Arjuna saying here to Yudhishthira Maharaj? So Arjuna is expressing gratitude. So verse 7, translation by His Loving Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, only by His merciful strength was I able to vanquish all the lusty princes assembled at the palace of King Drupada for the selection of the bridegroom. This is Draupadi's Swayamvar. With my bow and arrow, I could pierce the fish target and thereby gain the hand of Draupadi. See how grateful Arjuna is. He is giving the credit to Krishna, that it is only because of Krishna that I was able to do all this. And this attitude of great gratitude is the hallmark of devotee, because the devotee recognizes that Shabda Hake Purusham Shu, that Krishna says, I am the ability in man. So therefore, anything we possess is not actually ours. When we claim it as ours, then we become entangled in the illusion and falsity of life. And then we suffer in the cycle of birth and death. And Arjuna here basically is expressing that everything, O Yudhishthira, we have been able to achieve, I have been able to achieve, is only due to the source of power coming from Krishna. Text 8, he says, because he was near me, it was possible for me to conquer with great dexterity the powerful king of heaven, Indradev, along with his demigod associates, and thus enable the fire god to devastate the Pāṇḍava forest. And only by his grace was the demon named Maya saved from the blazing Pāṇḍava forest. And thus we could build our assembly house of wonderful architectural workmanship, where all the princes assembled during the performance of Rasu Yagna and paid you tributes. So Arjuna here is glorifying Krishna, and he is not putting himself in the center. Actually, Arjuna also had an input in this incident. And Krishna very much appreciated Arjuna, because when Maya Danav demon, when Pāṇḍava forest was being destroyed, he came to the shelter of Arjuna. He didn't go to the shelter of Krishna. And Arjuna saved him. Arjuna blessed him. And when Maya Danava asked that can give you any benediction you want, ask something from me, Arjuna refused to ask. And that very much pleased Krishna. That see how selfless my devotee is. Actually, we don't need to ask anything from anyone. The only thing we need is pure devotional service to Krishna. And that attitude pleases Krishna the most. And when Krishna saw this encounter of Arjuna with Maya Danav demon, then Krishna saved the Maya Danav demon. And Krishna said to the Maya Danav demon, I'm very pleased with you that you took shelter of my pure devotee Arjuna. And therefore, And you also wanted to render some service to the pure devotee. Now this is very important. Desire to save a pure devotee as per what the pure devotee would want us to do, not according to our own mental fermentation and created thing that no, this is I should do because this is what I feel like doing. No, the proper etiquette is anukulyenan krishnanu. What Krishna wants, what the devotee of the Lord wants. So Krishna fulfilled the desire of Maya Danav, that Maya Danav wanted to save Arjuna. So Krishna then directed him, yes, save the Pāṇḍavas, save Arjuna by creating a wonderful architectural workmanship, a palace. And that palace was completely mesmerizing. And it mesmerized all the princes assembled in the Rasu Yagna. And Yudhishthira Maharaj says, Arjuna says to Maharaj Yudhishthira that all the kings paid tribute to you in the Rasu Yagna only because of the arrangement, blessings, power and mercy of Krishna. And in text number 9, Arjuna goes on to say that Yattejasa, by your influence, so your respectful younger brother who possessed the strength of 10,000 elephants killed by his grace Jarasandha, whose feet were worshipped by many kings. These kings had been brought for sacrifice in Jarasandha's Mahabhairava Yagna, but they were thus released. Later, they paid tribute to your majesty. So, even Bhima killing Jarasan, all this was only by Krishna's grace. Krishna made the arrangement. When Krishna received the news in Dwarkapuri that Jarasan is imprisoning all the kings and he's going to execute them and give the oblations to Lord Shiva, then Krishna was thinking how to release all these kings. Then at the same time, a messenger from Hastinapur came and said that Yudhishthira Maharaj desires to perform the Rasu Yagna and he wants your blessings, Krishna. And Krishna then asked Uddhava, these both issues have come, how do we deal with it? Of course, Krishna knows the answer, but Krishna wants to give the credit to the devotee always. Then Uddhava advised Krishna that the Pāṇḍavas cannot perform Rasu Yagna, then unless, Jarasan is killed. And if the Pāṇḍavas killed Jarasan, then they will have unrivaled kingdom. So, Krishna could have himself gone and killed Jarasan. No, Krishna made the arrangement to go to Hastinapur and there asked Bhima, along with Arjuna, with permission of Yudhishthira Maharaj, to go to Jarasan and kill Jarasan in that way. And Jarasan was very, very powerful. He was almost invincible. And Krishna knew that. And Krishna devised a means, because Jarasan's army was also quite big, and it would have caused havoc if they went with the army. So Krishna devised means that they would disguise themselves as Brahmanas, approach Jarasan, and Jarasan very much respected Brahmanas, and whatever the Brahmanas desired, Jarasan fulfilled. And so the plan was that they would ask for a dual fight. And they would ask Jarasan to choose one of the three, Krishna, Arjuna or Bhima. And Jarasan chose Bhima because he regarded Krishna as coward. Why?
He ran away from the battle.
Yeah, because Jarasandha attacked Mathura 18 times, and Krishna, along with Balram, killed all the soldiers of Jarasandha, but they did not kill Jarasandha, and they ran away. On the 18th time, actually, they ran away. They left, or up to 17th time, they left Jarasandha. Each time, they did not kill Jarasandha. Although Balram wanted to kill Jarasandha, but Krishna said, look, Vinashaya Chaduskritam, that's one of the reasons we have come, is to annihilate the miscreants. And they are spread all over the world. But Jarasandha, he is like our agent. We don't even have to pay commission to him. He will gather all the demons and he will come again to fight with us. He hates us so much. And each time he comes to fight with us, we'll kill all those demons, but we will not kill Jarasandha. We'll let him go. Again, he'll collect all the demons. They'll come again to fight, and we'll do the same. So 17th time Jarasandha attacked like that, Mathura. And Krishna and Balram killed all the demons. But the 18th time, they did not fight. They just went away with the whole Mathura Vasis to Dwarka and established a new city. And it was in the sea, so Jarasandha could not come that far. So if you look at the Dwarka, it's actually far from every place. Even to get there is quite austere. It's a long journey. I know first time I went to India, my Guru Maharaj was in Dwarka and I landed in Mumbai, and I was told to catch a train, and it was a 24-hour long train journey from Mumbai to Dwarka. Overnight you had to go, and whole next day 12 hours almost. Bhima, Jarasandha chose. Arjuna, he thought he's just a boy, but Bhima was nice, built, and then Krishna also told how to kill Jarasandha to Bhima. In this way, Jarasandha was defeated by Krishna's mercy. Then Bhima goes on to say that it was he only who loosened the hair of all the wives of the miscreants who dared open the cluster of your queen's hair, which had been nicely dressed and sanctified for the great Rasuya sacrificial ceremony. At that time she fell down at the feet of Lord Krishna with tears in her eyes. Krishna extended the sari of Draupadi, and those who had a part in this great immoral act of not protesting, even just sitting there, just by his vision, Krishna reduced their lifespan. Text number 11. During our exile, Durvasa Muni, who eats with his 10,000 disciples, intrigued with our enemies to put us in dangerous trouble. At that time, he, Lord Krishna, simply accepting the remnants of food, saved us. By his accepting food, thus the assembly of Munis, while bathing in the river, fell sumptuously fed, and all the three worlds were also satisfied. So we see whole pastimes are in this, and so many learnings from these pastimes, that yes, if we make an offering to Krishna, Yasnim Tushtim Jagat Tushtam, then the whole universe becomes satisfied. Krishna is the root of all creation, and the proper way of watering a plant is to offer at the root. In this way, we can actually do a span of our life and see how Krishna has saved us at various instances. when we should not have survived, or we should not have deserved what we have now. But nonetheless, it is Krishna somehow or the other has come to our rescue and given us so much opportunity to be connected with Him. So this appreciation and gratitude daily we have to express to Krishna. Arjuna continues with his prayers of gratitude, and in the 12th verse he mentions that how by the influence only of Krishna, that in a fight I was able to astonish the personality of God, Shiva, and his wife, daughter of Mount Himalaya. Thus Lord Shiva became pleased with me and awarded me his own weapon, the Pashupata Astra. Other demigods also delivered their respective weapons to me, and in addition I was able to reach the heavenly planets in this present body and was allowed a half-elevated seat. So to go to heavenly planets in the same body is not possible. We see Ravana try to build a staircase to the heavens, but that project was a disaster. When Ravana was dying, then he said to Lakshmana, "Oh, your brother killed me, but I had so many plans that were yet to be accomplished." And one of those plans was building a staircase to the heaven. But Arjuna, in the same body, he went to the heavenly planets, and there he sat on the same on the asana beside Indra. He gained victory over Indra, and yet he won the favor of Indra as well, and collected all the nuclear and atomic weapons from Lord Shiva and from Indra and other demigods as well. And all this, Arjuna again is expressing that is due only to Krishna and his mercy. When I stayed for some days as a guest in heavenly planets, all the heavenly demigods, including King Indradeva, took shelter of my arms, which were marked with the Gandiva bow, to kill the demon named Navata Kavacha. O King, descendant of Ajmed, at the present moment I am bereft of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by whose influence I was so powerful. So, Arjuna, the great bowman, in later on we see one of the verses he says here is Tadavai dhanus ta isava saratahayaste, that I am the same possessor of the Gandiva bow. Tadavai dhanus sa ishava, the horses of my chariot, saratahayaste, and the chariot itself is the same. So me rati, and I am the same rati, the same passenger in the chariot. Nipatayo yata namanti, to whom all the great warriors paid their respects. Great warriors bowed down before Arjuna. However, sarvam shanena tadabhut asadi shariktam, in no time at all my power, all my prowess has gone. Why has it gone? Isharaktam, in absence of Krishna. Raktam means he has now left. His influence is no longer there. Vasmam hutam guhakarabdham evaptum usyan. And three analogies Arjuna gives, that when and if Krishna withdraws his energies, then no matter what we try, our endeavor will be like offering ashes into fire. Like planting burnt seed into barren land. And trying to, with a magic wand, create wealth. Nothing actually can work if the sanction of Krishna is not there, if the mercy of Krishna is not there. In Gita, Krishna says, Upadrishta Numanta Cha, that I am the overseer, Upadrishta, and Anumanta, I am the permitter, I am the giving of, I give sanction. Bharata, Bhokta, Maheshwaram, I am the maintainer, and I am the enjoyer, and I am the supreme controller. And Krishna maintains, and he gives us the energy and power to do everything. But when he withdraws, no matter what, everything becomes null, void, and useless. So Arjuna is expressing that, in this particular verse. So today's verse that we are supposed to cover is text number 12. Let's look at this. Yatte jasat bhagavan yudhishulapanir
Yate jasa bhagavan yudhishulapanir
Vishma pita sagirijostramadhan nijam me
Vishma pita sagirijostramadhan nijam me
Anye pichaham anu naiva kalevarena
Anye pichaham anu naiva kalevarena
Prapto Mahendra Bhavane Mahadasanardham
Prapto Mahendra Bhavane Mahadasanardham.
Yes, anyone?
Yatte jasatha bhagavan yudhishulapanir
Yatte jasata Bhagavan Yudhishulapanir
Vishma pita sagirijo astram adanya jamme
Vishma pita sarivijostram adannijam me
Anye pichaham amunev kalavarena
Anye pichaham anuneva kalevarena
Prapto mahendra bhaven mahad asanadham
Prapto Mahendra Bhavane Mahadasanardham
Tejasata Bhagavan Yudhishulapanir
Yatte jasata Bhagavan Yudhishulapanir
Vishwapitaha Sajiro Stram Adhanijam me
Vishma pita sagirijostram adannijam me
Anye pichaham amunaiva kalevarena
Anye pichaham amuneva kalevarena
Prapto Mahendra Bhavane Mahad Asanatam
Prapto Mahendra Bhavane Mahadasanardham.
Yatte jasata bhagavan yudhishulapanir
Yatte jasata Bhagavan Yudhishulapanir
Vishma pita sagirijostramadhanijam me
Vishma pita sagirijostram adannijam me
Anye pichaham amunaiva kalevarena
Anye pichaham anuneva kalevarena Prapto Mahendra Bhavane Mahadasanardham
Yatte jasat bhagavan yudhishulapanir
Yatte jasata Bhagavan Yudhishulapanir
Vishma pita sagirijostramadhanijam me
Vishma pita sagirijostram adannijam me
Anye pichaham amuneva kalevarena
Anye pichaham amuneva kalevarena प्राप्तो महेन्द्र भवने महदासनार्थम्
यत्तेजसथ भगवान् युधिशूलपाणे
यत्तेजसाथ भगवान् युधिशूलपाणे
भीष्मपिता सुग्रीवो सामधानुजन्मे
भीष्मापिता सविधिजोऽस्त्रमतान्निजन्मे
अपि चाहम् अमुन्या कलवरेण
अनन्येऽपि चाहममुनैव कलेवरेण
प्राप्तो महेन्द्र भवने महदसनादरम्
प्राप्तो महेन्द्र भवने महदासनार्थम् Yat by whose? Tejasa, by influence, Atha, at one time, Bhagavan, personality of God, Lord Shiva, Yudhi, in the battle, Shulapanihi, one who has a trident in his hand, Vismapitaha, astonished, Sagirijaha, along with the daughter of the Himalaya mountains, Astram, weapon, Dhat, awarded, Nijam, of his own, Me, unto me, Anyepi, so also others, Cha, and Aham, myself, Amuna, by this, Eva, definitely, Kalevarena, by the body, Praptaha, obtained, Maha Indra Bhavane, in the house of Indradev, Mahat, great, Asanaratham, half elevated seat. Translation by His Loving Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please repeat. It was by his influence only. That in a fight I was able to astonish the personality of God, Lord Shiva, and his wife, the daughter of Mount Himalaya. Thus, he, Lord Shiva, became pleased with me and awarded me his own weapon. Other demigods also delivered their respective weapons to me. And in addition, I was able to reach the heavenly planets in this present body and was allowed a half elevated seat. Papered by Srila Prabhupada. Please hear. By the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna, all the demigods, including Lord Shiva, were pleased with Arjuna. The idea is that one who is favored by Lord Shiva or any other demigod may not necessarily be favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. Ravana was certainly a great devotee of Lord Shiva, but he could not be saved from the wrath of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra. And there are many instances like that in the histories of Puranas. But there is an instance where we can see that Lord Shiva became pleased even in fight with Arjuna. The devotees of the Supreme Lord know how to respect demigods, but the devotees of the demigods sometimes foolishly think the Supreme Personality of Godhead is no greater than the demigods. So one of the offenses against the holy names, we chanted this morning also, is to consider the names of demigods such as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the names of Lord Vishnu. So demigod devotees, they necessarily cannot surpass the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. But the devotees of Krishna, they automatically become eligible to get the mercy of the demigods and the support of the demigods by the dint of being devotees of the worshipable Lord of demigods. Our Guru Maharaj once told us this ways that swadharma nirato astu, especially for a grahastha, that one who follows their grahastha duties, swadharma, expertly and nicely, and hari bhakti ratihi sada, but their ratihi is always towards doing bhakti onto Lord Shri Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, and sarvandriya upashantyasha, and all their senses are under their check. They don't go into engagement in lower modes. Then tushyanti sarva devataha, all the demigods automatically become happy with such a person, because such a person is endeavoring to do devotional service onto Krishna. And they know that such a person will not ask for anything material. So even demigods support pure devotional service in that way. By such conception, one becomes an offender. So one who thinks that the demigods are in the same level as the Supreme Lord is a Pāṇḍavas. Pāṇḍavas means an offender, and ultimately meets with the same end as Ravanas and others. The instances described by Arjuna during his friendly dealings with Lord Shri Krishna are instructive for all who may be convinced by the lessons that one can achieve favors simply by pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whereas the devotees or worshippers of the demigods may achieve only partial benefits, which are also perishable, just as the demigods themselves are. So in Bhāgavatam, it is said that three categories of worshippers are there. Akamaha, one who don't have any desire. Sarvakama, one who are full of desires. And Mokshakama, one who desire liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Udaradihi, if they are of broader intelligence, Dihi means intelligence, then Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, then Tivrena means they will do intensive Bhakti Yogena, devotional service unto Krishna. Tivrena Bhakti Yogena Yajeta Purusham Param, the Parama Purusham Krishna, they will yajeta, they will worship. So, what is the disadvantage of worshipping the demigods for material things?
It is perishable.
Yes, okay, it is perishable. So this is where Bhagavad Gita verses are very important. Where does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita that the things attained through demigods are perishable? Ninth chapter, Krishna says, Shine punye martyalokam vishanti, that when their piety becomes expired or used up, then again they fall down into the material plane. Shine punya martyalokam vishanti. And furthermore, Krishna also says in the 7th chapter that labate tatha kamam mayeva vihitantam, that one should know that everything actually is given by Krishna himself. The demigods actually don't have the power to give. Antavantu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedasam. That antavant means temporary. So in 7:22-3, Krishna says that Antavant. Anta means what? End. Whatever the demigods will give will have an end. Antavant tu phalam. Phalam means fruit. So whatever the benedictions, the fruit the demigods give, Antavant tu phalam tesham, will have an end. And so, those who approach the demigods for such temporary things are described by Krishna as what? They are perishable. But what about those people who approach? Yeah, alpa bhavati medhasam. Medhasam means intelligence. Alpa bhavati, alpha means? Yeah, they're very petty driven. They're not intelligent. Why are not they intelligent?
Because they are worshipping it.
Because they are thinking of only certain dimension.
Yeah, someone who can give unlimited wealth and leaving them, you are going to someone who can only give little bit, and that little bit also will be antavant, will be destroyed at the end. So that is foolishness. So Krishna says, alpa bhavati medasam. Devan deva yajoyanti. Those who worship the demigods, they will go to the demigods. But then Krishna goes on to say that shine punyam martyalokam vishanti. But when their piety expires, they again fall down to this planet of death. But madhyaji, but those who worship me, mad bhakta yanti mamapi, they come to me. And when we go to Krishna, then Krishna says that we don't have to come back again. So that position is permanent. So who is the foolish person who would want to give up the permanent position and go for something very temporary? So even though if we want something material, it is better to approach Krishna for that material thing. And because when Krishna gives, the results are beyond our wildest imagination. Secondly, what does Krishna do? When he gives us something.
More than expected.
Yeah, it is beyond our wildest imagination.
It's permanent.
Which is good for us.
Liberation.
He takes away our attachment from that thing. And how does he do that?
By
By
getting
giving
you
dukkha.
closer to him.
By giving dukkha.
No, he's giving us the thing we wanted.
But at the same time, so that we don't feel attached, so that he gives pain also at the same time.
Because attracting us towards him.
Yes,
so
very
more
good.
attractive.
Because we approach him, he makes us have Krishna Rati, attraction towards Krishna. And that attraction fills our heart that we lose attachment for what he has given us. That what he has given us is like, as you know, Dhruv Maharaj says, Kachan vichinvan navidid yaratam, is like broken pieces of glass. What is broken pieces of glass? What is the use of broken pieces of glass? No use. In fact, broken pieces of glass are dangerous. Why are they dangerous?
To make it hurt.
Cut your hand, cut your feet. And immediately, when glass is broken, yeah, there's a big table at the Ashindu Prabhu's place, glass table. Every time I looked at this table, I was thinking, someday this table will break. And it did break. And it was glass everywhere glass. And the best thing, no one come here, step aside. Some wore household shoes and vacuumed, and then each grain of broken glass, you have to look because it goes far. Similarly, the implications of our material desires are like that. It actually harms us. It is shattered pieces of broken glasses which actually cut us. In Srīmad Bhāgavatam, this another analogy is given that the camel tasting its own blood, chewing on the thorny desert leaves and the twigs, it's very sweet tasting to the camel. In the desert, the food for the camel is those thorny branches or leaves. As a camel eats, it cuts its tongue and it tastes the blood and it says, "Oh, how sweet blood." But it doesn't realize that it's its own blood is being cut. Similarly, our material desires, we don't realize, are destroying the very vitality of our existence. We are being literally cut. And so, at least by the time we are 50 in Grahastha ashram, we should realize that whatever our desires have been to make a permanent place and live happily ever after, it was a fallacy. This story was told by us, by our parents or grandparents, the society, the novels, the literatures, the movies, but it is a world of lie. And Bhagavad Gita completely destroys that and gives us a higher purpose, where at least by that time we have the desire to get attached to Krishna, and attachment to Krishna will automatically detach us from everything else. The third thing, when we approach demigods, then what happens?
I mean, the maximum you can reach is the heavenly planets, but you're still in this birth and then cycle. You can't get out of that. But when you...
Yeah, we discussed that. All like the results are limited, or so the third thing is that prakritaya, meaning that nature of the demigod you will inherit eventually, you'll get. And we can understand that that nature of the demigods sometimes is ghastly. And so we don't do ourselves any favor. The example here, Prabhupada gives, what example he gives? Ravana. So Ravana worshipped the ahankara aspect of Lord Shiva. And therefore he became, as such, the false ego. I can share this nice article written by His Holiness Hridayananda Goswami Maharaj in 1994 in Back to Godhead magazine. I remember when I got hold of the Back to Godhead magazine and read this article. So Hridayananda Goswami, he discusses 5 so-called most misunderstood conclusions of Bhagavad Gita. And through the verses of Bhagavad Gita, he proves the truth. And one of the sections is, the first section is, there is one God. And he is supreme, and demigods and Krishna are not on the same plane. And all the verses from Bhagavad Gita, which all the verses from Bhagavad Gita support this. There isn't a one verse which defies this. But like a lawyer, he's put in all the references here. If you want to search the other 4 points, you can explore. You can Google it, the exploration of the meaning. And you can type Hidenanda Goswami. There's 3-part article. And he presented this paper actually for his university doctorate studies. And no one can defy or deny this proof, Shastra Praman. Another significance of present verse is that Arjuna, by grace of Lord Shri Krishna, was able to reach the heavenly planets even with the self-same body, and was honored by the heavenly demigod Indradev, being seated within, half elevated. One can reach the heavenly planets by the pious acts recommended in the Shastras in the category of fruitive activities. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 9:21, when the reactions of such pious acts are spent, the enjoyer again degraded to this earthly planet. The enjoyer is again degraded to this earthly planet. Shine punya matya lokam vishanti. That's the verse. The moon is also on the level with the heavenly planets, and only persons who have performed virtues only, performing sacrifice, giving charity, and undergoing severe austerities can be allowed to enter into the heavenly planets after the duration of life of the body. Arjuna was allowed to enter into the heavenly planets in the self-same body simply by the grace of the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible to do so. The present attempts to enter into the heavenly planets by the modern scientists will certainly prove futile, because such scientists are not on the level of Arjuna. They are ordinary human beings without any assets of sacrifice, charity, and austerities. The material body is influenced by the 3 modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. The present population is more or less influenced by the modes of passion and ignorance, and the symptoms for such influence are exhibited in their becoming very lusty and greedy. Such degraded fellows can hardly approach the higher planetary systems. Above the heavenly planets, there are many other planets also, which only those who are influenced by goodness can reach. In heavenly planets and other planets within the universe, the inhabitants are all highly intelligent, many more times than the human beings, and they are all pious in the higher and the highest mode of goodness. They are all devotees of Lord, and although their goodness is not unadulterated, still they are known as demigods, possessing maximum amount of good qualities possible within the material world. Jai Bhaktivedanta Prabhuji. Any questions?
So when you say that the demigods are in the mode of goodness, they are not reached beyond that. So just they are still there.
Still material mode.
So even they have to do like pious activities, and so how do they approve? They go to Krishna in that case.
Well, in the 5th canto of Srīmad Bhāgavatam, I think the 18th chapter, the prayers of the demigods are there, and there the demigods themselves, they actually give a clue as to how they attain that position in the planet of demigods. Yeah. also in text, actually you should read these verses. Canto 5, chapter 19, text 21 onwards. I think there are 9 or 10 verses. So the demigods there say, since the human form of life is the sublime position for spiritual realization, all the demigods in heaven speak in this way. How wonderful it is for the human beings to have been born in the land of Bharatvarsha. They must have executed pious acts of austerity in past, or Supreme Personality of Godhead himself must have been pleased with them. Otherwise, how could they engage in devotional service in so many ways? So the demigods are aspiring to be born as devotees on earthly planet. And they say that after performing very difficult tasks of executing Vedic rituals, sacrifice, undergoing austerities, observing vows and giving charity, we have achieved this position as inhabitants of heavenly planets. But what is the value of such achievement? Here we are certainly very engaged in material sense gratification. And therefore, we can hardly remember the lotus feet of Lord Narayana. Indeed, because of our excessive sense gratification, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet. So demigods also have to perform pious activities to attain that position. But then the enjoyment is so much that they can't remember Krishna sincerely.
But will they stuck there, or how do they do that?
They can elevate themselves from there, but if they want a fast track elevation, then that's what they pray in the later verses, that if some piety after our life remains, we wish to be born on the earthly planet as devotees, as your devotees, so that we can come back to you quickly. Otherwise, millions and millions of years can go by just elevating there. So that's one of the verses here. The demigods say this. Yeah. Yadi yatra nasvarga sukheshvacheshvitam svittasya suktasya vitasya shobhanam tena jape smritam ajjanmama syat varshe haririyat bhajatam samtanoti. We are now living in the heavenly planets undoubtedly as a result of our having performed ritualistic ceremonies, pious activities and yagnas, and having studied Vedas. However, our lives here will one day be finished. We pray that at that time, if any merit remains from our pious activities, we may again take birth in the Bharatvarsha as human beings, able to remember the lotus feet of Lord. The Lord is so kind that He personally comes to the land of Bharatvarsha and expands the good fortune of its people. So the demigods even pray that at the end of our lives, if any merit piety remains, then in exchange for that piety, we be born as human beings, as devotees.
Very elevated. Actually, very. So you must have done some pious activity.
The beauty of bhakti is that it is not dependent on mundane piety. Rupa Goswami says, Krishna bhakti rasabhavitam matihi kriyatam yadi kutopi labhyate. That if Krishna bhakti is available, rasabhavitam matihi, our consciousness can become completely drenched with Krishna bhakti. Then kriyatam yadi kuto vilavyate, then at any cost one should get it. What is the cost? Tatra laulyam molyam ekalam. That cost is intense greed. Now I want to do Krishna bhakti. Koti sukriti janmana labhyate. millions and millions of mundane piety will not give us devotional service. Mundane piety will give us heavenly kingdom. That heavenly kingdom will prolong our material existence, but it will not give Krishna Bhakti. However, by doing piety, if we come across a pure devotee of the Lord, and somehow or the other we save that pure devotee, then that piety is not mundane anymore. Then through the blessings and the service that we give to the pure devotee, we get the devotional merit. And that merit is, yes, we desire, we develop desire, yes, we want to save Krishna as this sadhu is saving, because this sadhu seems so happy doing devotional service. Yeah, so we should not rely on just the mundane so-called sukrit and duskrit. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna that buddhi yukti jahatiha ubhe sukrita duskrite, that your intelligence, by pure devotional service, you ubhe sukrita duskrite, rise above the piety and the sinful. Tasmad yogasya yujasva yoga karma sukaushalam, that you do this art of devotional service, that is bhakti. So, doing good is very good, but the effect of that good will only come when somehow or the other, we have the good fortune of doing that good activity or saving a pure devotee of the Lord. I'll end with this one incident. Myself and my Guru Maharaj, just before he left his body, 6 months before he left his body, we were traveling from India to UK, and we were going in the economy class, and my Guru Maharaj needed to go to the bathroom, and we were sitting right in the front seat of the economy class, and the bathroom was right at the back, and my Maharaj's health wasn't good at all. He was struggling. So I asked the air hostess that, look, he needs to use the bathroom, but I don't think he can travel right to the back. Can you please give the permission that he can use the bathroom in the business class? So she thought, and then somehow, she said yes. So that's piety, which is devotional piety. That for a pure devotee, some service was rendered. But then, as Guru Maharaj was going, I was going behind him, and he was struggling walking, holding seats and just going forward like that. And after he finished his business, he came back and we sat in our seat. And then a few minutes later, air hostess comes and tells that there are a couple of passengers in the business class who want to exchange their seats for you. Would you like to take that? So I asked Guru Maharaj, someone there, they must have seen us and they want to exchange their seats. Should we go? Maharaj said, yes, son, that will be comfortable. And so we went there, and they came here, and as they were coming, I saw they were, maybe in their 30s, young Muslim boys, and they exchanged the seats. So just imagine the enormous devotional piety that would have created in their hearts. That would become the impetus for the start of devotional life. So they are good nature. So if any old man would have gone there, they would have done the same thing. But the results, because this old person happened to be a pure devotee of the Lord, the result is just magnified. Therefore, goodness is encouraged. We should do all time, everywhere. We should do good and be kind to people and save others. Service to humanity is good. But that service to humanity actually brings about permanent result when by doing good somehow or the other, one pure devotee of Krishna comes in our lives and we have the opportunity to save him. That's when that mundane piety changes to spiritual piety. Otherwise, koti janma sukriti na labhyate. Just by mundane piety doing, we will not get merit to do devotional service to Krishna. Yeah. Jai. Canto Srīmad Bhāgavatam ki. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki. Nitai Gaur Premanande.